Opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's host, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it'll be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock and time for On the Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host, David Rodgers, alongside Mitchell Gunner and Byron Bagwell. Great to have you guys along tonight. Tonight's show is sponsored by Miracle Automotive and Recovery in both Stark and McClinney. When it comes to automotive servicing or towing, Miracle gives you the best care anywhere. Call Kurt and Kenny Miracle at 904-368-1114. Miracle Automotive, where miracles happen every day. Let's get the show started as we always do with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the week. Mr. Michael Heater, I'm going to ask you tonight, I just feel it, do you lead us in prayer, please, sir?
Happy to. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity once again to gather together as brothers and comrades in arms here on a beautiful Tuesday evening. We thank you for the opportunity to gather together to be able to present the information that our viewers listen to. We thank you for the support of the community. We thank you for the support of our great nation. We appreciate everyone who puts forth the effort in protecting us, our citizens, on a daily basis. We thank you for the service of our military. We thank you for the service of first responders, and we thank you for the farmers and the workers who go out every day to earn the opportunity to serve this community in their own special way. We ask for your blessings on this show tonight. Bless each and every person who is tuned in to watching this show. Bless them and their families. Keep us safe with a hedge of protection over them as we move through the days ahead. It is with these requests that we solemnly come to you and ask for your blessings to all. In Christ's name we pray, and the congregation says,
Amen. Great prayer. All right, let us stand for our pledge. And I'm going to ask Mr. Dave Holland, if he'd lead us in the pledge tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Amen. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into On the Spot with David Rodgers. Here is the crew tonight. Alongside the local guru, the man himself, is Mr. Mitchell Gunner. Say hello, Mitchell, everybody.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening.
And to my left, just getting in off of his route, had a great day at work today. He is the national guy, the national correspondent, the guy that knows all, bees all about government, about politics, about whatever you want to know. It's Byron Pack.
Good evening, infidels.
And you just heard him with the prayer. He's our writer. He's our director. He's our weather guru. Just a little bit about everything. Give it up for Mr. Michael Heater, the Dragon Slayer. Say hello, Mike.
Good evening, folks, and welcome aboard.
And pictured right over here to my right in his beautiful grayish-green shirt, black tie, giving the uppercuts right there. He is our producer. He is super. Dave Holland. Say hello, David.
Hello, infidels.
And miscreants.
Did you say Zinfandels or infidels?
Yeah, no, he said Zinfandel.
Oh, okay, I got
Yeah,
you. Okay.
yeah, he said Zinfandel, I think. Yes. Oh, surely he did. So anyway, welcome in. Hey, as we always do, we're going to get the show right here on the road. Haven't been here with you for a few days. Hope everybody's doing well. As Michael said, it's been a great day. Great weather today. Wasn't so great over the weekend.
No, it was not.
But I tell you what, hey, we were able to get past that. Now the beautiful part comes until Michael gives his weather report, of course. Hopefully he doesn't damper that. So anyway, again, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right to it. But first, we got a patriotic quote of the week, don't we, Byron?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. I sing one. You want to use that one you used today?
Yes. No, actually, no, I don't.
No, you don't want to use that
I
one.
don't want to use that one. I want to use a different one.
Okay, we'll use a different one while you're looking for that. Hey, give a little preview of what's coming up in your section.
Sure. We're going to be talking about some upcoming meetings that the county will be doing. And
Right.
They're very interested, and people need to pay attention to it. They also need to come to those meetings as well.
Yep.
That workshop that I'm going to talk about.
Right.
And voice your own opinion. And what this workshop's going to talk about is the funding for our fire department in the county.
Nice, nice. Dave, any kind of happenings in the background back there? Any kind of new little things that we may be able to see with our graphics? Don't say, Dave, because I already know something that may happen. I kind of let it out of the bag almost.
No, you kind of put me on the spot.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Michael Heater, a little teaser on the weather?
Hey, let's just say that you're going to like it, but towards the end, it's the famous Byron Bagwell quote.
It's gonna snow yellow.
Well,
Pretty close.
Yeah, okay.
All right. What do you have for us, B?
Well, I have a quote that most people are not going to know who this comes from unless they really have studied our founding fathers.
Okay.
False is the idea of utility that sacrifices 1,000 real advantages for one imaginary or one trifling inconvenience that would take fire from men because it burns and water because it may drown in it, that has no remedy for evils except destruction. The laws that forbid the carrying of arms are laws of such nature. They disarm only those who are neither inclined nor determined to commit crimes.
Boy, I tell you, that's a lot. I've heard this before. I'm going to go with Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Jefferson. And if I had to choose the two, I'm going to take Thomas Jefferson. Mike?
I was going to say something similar. I was thinking either Thomas Jefferson or John Adams.
Okay. Who you want?
I'm going to go Adams.
You're going to go Adams, all right? Adams?
I'm going to go with Samuel Adams.
You're going to go with Samuel Adams. You're thinking about after the show then.
No, he's going before the
Yeah,
revolution.
he is,
But
yeah,
but it's
that's-
just fine.
All right. I got you.
I'm going to go with Adams.
You're going to go with Adams.
Yes.
All right.
Boy, I love it when I stump all of them.
Go!
The ones that
what
answered
you
Thomas,
love.
the ones that answered Thomas Jefferson were actually the closest to being right.
Hey, that's me. Congratulations, Dave.
Closest, I say, because
Oh, jeez.
the guy that actually said that was Caesar Beccaria, which
Okay.
nobody knows who that is. But he was quoted by Thomas Jefferson in his commonplace book.
Really?
Yeah, that's where
Okay.
most people.
Well, you're
that
pretty
have
close.
I was close.
You
I,
get 50%.
that
I get
quote.
Yeah.
Where they get it from?
I probably would have got that if I took history in college.
Possibly.
Yeah. Hey, how's that philosophy degree doing for you?
Yeah,
That's it.
There you go.
And
Yeah. All right. Hey, don't go anywhere because the 360 starts right now. This is the 360, your news and weather update. It's 360 degrees in just 360 seconds. Tonight, brought to you by Southern Gem Photo Booth. Call 904-263-6079 and let Megan not only bring fun to your event, she can make it picture perfect. We begin in Marion County, where a teenage driver was killed yesterday evening after a high-speed crash into a telephone pole with his grandmother's vehicle. A witness reported a 14-year-old now was traveling westbound on Northwest 42nd Street near Northwest 22nd Avenue in Ocala at about 90 miles an hour when, for unknown reasons, the SUV drove into oncoming traffic. The SUV then went off the road going airborne. The roof of the vehicle hit a wooden utility pole, causing the pole to snap in half. The driver, a Marion County student, was pronounced dead at the scene around 6:30 p.m. Those are just some sad stories. Wow. Around the same time last night, a 23-year-old man died after the pickup truck he was driving ran into the back of the semi and then left a roadway on Interstate 75 at mile marker 439. The truck then collided head-on with a tree. Oh. The driver, who was not wearing a seatbelt, was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Wow. A Levy County deputy is recovering in a Gainesville hospital after his patrol car was struck by a suspected drunk driver Saturday night. The deputy was parked in a patrol car on the side of the 99th Northeast 99th Place near Bronson Speedway, watching for stop sign violations when, according to the deputies, a woman ran the stop sign and crashed right into the parked patrol car.
You think?
You think? A new executive order from the state changes the way seniors will graduate from high school and eliminates the requirement for third grade students to pass an assessment test to be promoted to fourth grade.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm all in favor of that too. The new order is a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on the 2021 school year. The order gives more power to the schools by removing the requirement that seniors and third graders pass state assessment tests to move forward. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office is hosting a Fins and Pins Bowl-a-thon and fish fry on Saturday, April 24th from noon till 2 p.m. at Lake City Bowl in the Columbia County Fairgrounds. Let me tell you, my partner right here, great bowler.
Used to be.
Hey, you didn't bowl too bad Sunday. You didn't tell me.
Yeah, man, it's Saturday, but it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't all that.
All right.
At least
Well, here we go. First, get warmed up. Pre-registration is required, and while the event is free, donations are accepted to benefit the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches. For more information, check out the Columbia County Sheriff's Office, Dave, website or their Facebook page. Flagler County Dispatcher Mackenzie Davis has been selected as the 2020 Florida State Elks Association Law Enforcement Support Employee of the Year.
Yay!
Give it up for Mackenzie Davis. Davis began her career at the Flagler County Sheriff's Office in 2018 at only 19 years old. Wow. She was nominated for the award by her supervisor and Sheriff Staley for the incredible work she did as a dispatcher in 2020, including saving the lives, listen to this, of 4 Flagler County residents, 2 of them, Mitchell, in the same day. Wow. Nice. That girl's on top of it. Congratulations. Since 2014, the Florida State Elks Association have recognized and honored first responders. Davis will be recognized during the Elks Annual Conference in Orlando on May 29th. That's the latest news from around the region. Now, here's your weather forecast.
This weather report brought to you by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights. Find Austin's Weather Service on Facebook and have a detailed local forecast sent right to you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Real quick update on some weather I want to talk to you about. First and foremost, let's talk about some pollen. Check out these numbers. Lower than we've been seeing, and that's because of all the rain that we saw over the last few days. You can also tell us the difference because you can actually understand what David Rodgers, Byron Bagwell, and Mitchell Gunter are actually saying on television. Works out really well that way. So, real quick, wanted to give you a quick update as to how we're doing on this one. These numbers are working out pretty well, though. 8.1, number's going to jump up tomorrow to a 9.2. Then they're going to kind of level off again as we go through the rest of the week. Why is that, you say? Well, because while we're going to have a little bit of decent weather moving in this week, more rain is in the forecast for the weekend. Sorry, Mitchell, I know you're big on the racing, but unfortunately, that's what we're looking at. So a quick check of the regional forecast, and I'll tell you what we're talking about. Areas from Pascagoula, Mississippi, all the way across the entire region, you're going to be looking at some decent conditions. However, as the sun builds, you're going to see clouds moving into the area. Temperatures are seasonal. 74 in Pascagoula, going up here to 72 in Atlanta. And then, of course, up towards Knoxville at 72. Bulk of it 73, where you're going to get a lot of the clouds. And then, of course, Orlando, we're going to see a little bit of clouds and rain because of that warm front that's starting to shift back to the north. That's going to play into our forecast coming into the weekend. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about the local forecast real quick, and you see what we're talking about. So for the next 3 days, partly cloudy skies and seasonal temperatures. 82 degrees. Temperatures cool off a little bit, around 74, 75 or so. But we've skyrocketed again back into the 80s as we approach the end of the week. Sun looks good now, but again, we're going to see more clouds build as we move through the rest of the period. Saturday, Different story. We're looking at an enhanced chance of severe weather, possibly some thunderstorms and gusty, damaging winds moving into the area. Austin will be back with us shortly, and we'll be able to tell you the latest update as he is out and about right now. But for now, that is the latest from Austin's Weather Service. Dave, we're throwing it back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Michael. Hey, great job right there. Hey, guys, they said that there was no audio on that weather report. So maybe we can, hopefully we can bring it back. Yeah, some of our viewers were saying there was no audio there. So we'll work on that. And as Michael gives the forecast later on in the show, of course, you will be able to hear it. So we're going to work on that for sure. So, all right, here's another part of our show that we've added to it. It's called Thursday Trivia Hint, Byron. By the way, did you tell Michael what we found out? Because he left, so he didn't know, did he? Oh, he knows?
Yeah, he knows.
He knows. Okay. Here's your Thursday Trivia Hint. Each Tuesday night, we tease you with the answer to one of the questions from Thursday Night Team Trivia at the Downtown Grill. Owner, Ricky and Chrissy Thompson, hosted by yours truly, your host, David Rodgers. The trick is, we don't give you the question. You have to come, Mitchell. You have to come out for trivia night on Thursday to play. And the top 3 teams win gift certificates from the Downtown Grill. So, this week's hint or answer is, here's your clue, and be sure to come out Thursday night at 7 to get you an early seat, Byron. You want to get there early so you can get a place to sit, get your food, get your drink, be ready to go at 7:30. And the answer is Jets. Really, Jet. I could be talking about a jet that flies. I could be talking about Jet that Paul McCartney sings. I could be talking about, I could be talking about Benny and the Jets. I may use all 3. But here's the kicker.
Or you could be talking about the football team.
Yeah, I could be talking, Jets. That's true. Who knows? All right, there's your trivia. What is it, Byron? Jet. Tell them.
It's Jet.
It's Jet.
It's Jet.
Now, here's your favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners. WEAG Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Vellis, and, of course, our other partners, the Bradford County Telegraph, John Miller, John Ryan, Elizabeth Tillman, Mark Crawford, and, of course, our good buddy Cliff Smelly. Here's What's the Date? These are the headlines from the Bradford Telegraph during the 3rd week of April in what year? So, we got several of them. O'Neill departing landfill after 24 years. Chandler out as BHS boys basketball coach. FDOT building, concrete test road north of Lottie. And thousands lose power as storm passes through. Was that April of 2018, April of 2019, or April of 2020? O'Neill departing landfill after 24 years. Chandler out as BHS boys basketball coach. FDOT building concrete test road north of Lottie. And thousands lose power as storm passes through. Was that April of 2018, Byron? April of 2019, Mitchell? Or Michael, April of 2020? I'll read the first one. Byron, you read the second one. I'll read the third one, and you can read the fourth one. How about that?
All right.
All right. Executive Director Darrell O'Neill retired after nearly 24 years of service with the New River Solid Waste Association.
And Bradford High School decides to part ways with boys basketball head coach Adrian Chandler, with athletic director Lamar Waters saying the hope is to have a new coach in place by the beginning of May.
Okay. The Florida Department of Transportation scheduled to build a concrete test road along the north side lanes of US 301 between Lottie and Clay Hill. FDOT would surface the 2.5-mile stretch with experimental concrete and then route traffic onto that test roadway.
That's right. And over 7,000 Clay Electric customers lost power throughout 14 counties as storms passed through northeast Florida. Seminole Ridge and Melrose saw several locations with storm damage, but no injuries.
That's very good. So, O'Neill departing landfill after 24 years. Chandler out as BHS boys basketball coach. FDOT building concrete test road north of Lottie. thousands lose power as the storm passes through. April of 2018, April of 2019, April of 2020. Well, I know one of them it's not. That's for sure. So we're going to check the comments, get started with the show. This is your chance, ladies and gentlemen, to get in for a nice prize. Dave, that prize is a $25 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill. Monthly winners already: Raymond No, Miss Shirley Bagwell, Mary Salvatore, Lydia Morris, and did I forget anybody?
Mitchell Gunter.
No, Miss Testone. Yep. Which, by the way, what? No.
Mitchell Gunter.
One.
Hey,
the
I've
Mitch-
got something right.
yeah,
So
but
have I,
yeah,
but
like
he keeps on telling us we can't win, Mitchell. What is,
Yeah,
what,
you
I mean,
can't-
What is this?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Is that bias? No. Anyway, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hello, Albie! Hope Albie's feeling great. And again, this is your chance to win right here. A $25 gift certificate from the Downtown Grill. So, Connie Wilson, thank you for joining us back as well. Byron Bagwell's on. Gail Allen's on. Noah Gibson, hello. And everybody Raymond No's on. Sharon Petterpin says, good evening all. Welcome back, Dave Holland. Good job on David Rodgers' hair. P.S. Michael Heater, I hope they are contractors at your Wilson Road house. If not, you are seriously being burglared. We got it covered, Sharon. I promise you. That's the model, Sharon Petterpin.
Yes, that's the neighbor, Sharon Pettigrew.
That's right.
For looking out for me.
Absolutely. Anthony Black from Tallahassee, Florida, watching. She's the one that said there was no sound on Austin's weather service. Joseph Sayers is on. Donald Stevens is on. I know that our buddy, Austin, wasn't feeling too well. Yeah, so I just told him, hey, take the night off. Michael Heater's got it. We'll continue on.
Right.
Dwight Allen says, Michael, 19.
Got it.
Jackson says 18.
Got it.
Black says 19.
Okey-dokey.
All right. The model says 2018. Tammy Testone says 2019. Lydia Morris says 2018. We'll stop right there because that's all the comments I got. I'm going to ask Mr. Byron Bagwell what he thinks.
I think it's 19.
Okay? Michael Heater.
I try not to think it gives me a headache.
All right. So that means pass. All right. Dave.
There's jokes in that too, by the way, but I'll behave myself.
I'm guessing, complete guess, I'm going to say 18.
Okay.
I am going with 2018 because Chandler was the coach around that time. So
I'm going 2018 as well because I know that the current coach was there for 2 years until they got this one. So I'm going 18 as well. So, Randy Brooks says 18. Mark Goody says 18. Welcome in, guys. So, all right, going to give you just a couple of more seconds. Byron, while we're waiting on a couple of people to bring in, let's see. I've been so busy. My oldest is graduating next month. Let's see what Lydia says. Yay, 1 down and 2 more to go. Well, good luck with that, Lydia. Mark Goody says, hey, guys, what's the question? Oh, let's go back real quick. So, O'Neal departing landfill after 24 years. Chandler out as BHS boys basketball coach. FDOT building concrete test road north of Lottie. And thousands lose power as storm passes. What's that? April of 2018, April of 2019, or April of 2020?
And because you're feeling so generous,
Yes. Oh, and don't forget about the trivia clue. Here's your clue, and be sure to come out Thursday night. Starts at 7:30, but I suggest you be there at 7. For team trivia, the answer is
But Benny and the
Jets. Dun.
well, it's not Jets. It's actually Jets.
Jet.
Yeah. Hey, and you know what? Paul McCartney's song is Jet, too.
No, I know.
Jet. How's the words go?
What do you do for a living?
I better keep it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
keep
Just
that
keep the
going.
day job. Yeah,
I
yeah.
had a dog named Jet.
Did you?
Did you?
Is his first name Benny?
I had a
Benny and then
No, I can't say the.
Pepper Autistic says 2019. So she's in. All right. Well, that's about all the answers I'm seeing right now. Well, wait a minute. Raymond No says 19.
Oh, wait. And-
Yeah, who do you have?
No, that's it.
That's it. Dwight Allen. The test section of 301 is a disaster. Massive traffic jam every afternoon going north. 3 bottlenecks in 2 miles is absolutely ridiculous. You agree, Mitchell?
I agree.
You going to work on that?
No.
No. All right. David
Nothing I can
Versace.
do for that.
No.
Because seriously, that's a Clay County issue.
David Versace is watching from Van Cleve, Mississippi, about 30 miles, not quite, from Pascagoula, Mississippi. Glad you could join us, David. All right. Are we ready? Yes, we are. And I'm going to do that, Dave, in our next segment on the round table. All right. And the answer is, wait for it. Give me the drum roll. Drum roll. Let's see who's right. April 2018. Bam!
Man, I am batting
Byron, did you get it?
750.
No. Byron didn't get it.
Everybody got it, but
But Byron. So, since Byron didn't get it,
He's got to buy some food at the downtown
no,
grill.
since Byron didn't get it, and I love his hair,
Oh,
by the
goodness
way.
gracious. It's
Yeah.
not going in a man bun.
Please,
No.
it's got to go into a man bun.
No.
So,
No
I
man
love
bun.
you so much. I love you a lot. And for everybody that's
here it
tuning
comes,
in,
Here it comes.
I love you. We made a little special thing for you. And I love you. You know that, right? So, Dave, as soon as you want to do that, go right in.
here
Ladies
we
and
go,
gentlemen,
ladies and
for
gentlemen.
your viewing
Guaranteed
pleasure,
for your entertainment,
Man
gentlemen
Bun
and ladies.
himself, right here, Governor Man Bun, Byron Bagwell. Hit it, David.
Byron, man bun. Byron, man bun.
Oh, dear grief.
Byron, man bun.
Look at that. Look at this.
Man bun.
Look who's here. Look at all those people.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
You see who's back there? She kept her secret really well, too, by the way. Look at there, man. Just for you, brother, because I love you. You know that, right? Huh? Yeah. Hey, I can guarantee you, if I know my brother right here, boy, do I have another thing. Hey, does Judas Priest have a song for me?
Another thing coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love him. Byron's a good sport, man, I tell you. It's fun to pick and stuff. It really is.
Remember all this joking around about me and my boxers and all that
Oh,
stuff?
yeah, it's shifted.
Now it's shifted.
Well, it may shift this way.
Boxers
Hey,
and now
it
it's-
may shift this way.
Well,
Yeah, he's definitely going to get it. Yeah, and he's probably definitely going to get it, too, for filming it.
I got one for Michael.
What's that?
hands were
Michael and his Magnum PI mustache.
Magnum
you
PI.
They could be worse.
Tom Selleck. It could be worse.
it could be much worse. Like,
Yeah.
a man bun.
Dwight Allen says, nothing meddling about a man bun.
You're absolutely right.
Yep. Let's see. Howdy, David. Brothers. He said, howdy, brother. So proud of Alvy. He made the AB honor roll.
All right.
There we go. Ty Jordan's on. Thank you, Ty. Let's see. So proud of Alvy. Yeah. Lydia Moore says, congratulations. Why do y'all bother him with this man bun thing? Lots of laughs. Well, Byron's got a ponytail in the back there. And I don't know how the man bun thing started.
I don't know either.
How did it start, David? Y'all
Somebody
remember?
said
Hey,
something
we
about-
had to change his Byron the brown plastic Bagwell to.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember if this one come up with it or if it
Yeah,
just sort
I
of
don't know if it was, I
just
probably
organically
did.
happened
It just-
that I needed to put it in a man bun, and my response to that
Yeah.
was an unequivocal no.
Well, Pepper, if you want to elaborate on that, I'm sure Byron would love to help you out there. She said, how about David and his hair?
No, I'm behaving myself.
Well, let's see what she says. I'm not sure what she's meaning there.
I'm going to behave myself.
Yeah, I know you are because I'm
it's
sure
it's going to come.
it's
when y'all
going to
least
come when I
expect it.
least
Hey.
expect it.
Hey,
Not just
your
you.
hair is jet black tonight.
Hey, that's a good one. What is yours?
Peppered.
You're crazy. All right. Well, hey, I tell you what. Again, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining in. John Garner's. Archie likes the man bun, but he's bald. That's my brother saying that. Golly. She says, let your hair grow out and show your age. Lots of laughs. I guess the long hair in this thing, Byron, is...
it's not the length that she's talking about.
No, it's not. No, I know. It's the what, Mitchell? The jet what?
Black.
Jet black.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, welcome in, guys. Hey, we're getting ready to go to the round table, and that's where the phone lines... This show just went off the rails.
Off the rails.
Right off the damn rails.
It's all right.
We're going to talk
I
about a
needed
couple
laugh
of things.
after the mess has been going on for the past
Yes,
2
Pepper,
months.
I am sure that you're talking about me for sure. Yep, exactly right. So, hey, there it is. So, anyway, hey, April 2018 is the deal. How many winners do we have? We had several winners.
We had 6.
Yeah, 6 winners. Y'all go into the pot for that $25 gift certificate, which we'll be drawing here in a couple of weeks. We've got several things to talk about in the roundtable and upcoming shows and things like that before we get to our segments. So make sure you stick around. We'll be right back after this commercial break with the roundtable.
Hey Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida at David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for the roundtable alongside Mitchell and Byron. Here we go. This is the time right now, ladies and gentlemen, that you can call into the show. Phone lines are wide open. 904-458-7588. Repeat that phone number, Mitchell.
904-458-7588.
Yes, but lines are wide open right now. If the line is busy, you can leave a message, and we will read your message on the air. You can also try to call back if you wish, or you can hit the comments column right here if you'd like as well.
Hey, I like people to call that number and let us know your thoughts on the closing of Hampton and Brooker Elementary.
Hey, that's a good one. So phone lines are open right now, ladies and gentlemen, 904-458-7588. If the line is busy, you can leave a message and we will reread your message on the air. You can also try to call back if you wish. Again, that number is 904-458-7588. Want to talk about a couple of things. I want to thank Caitlin from the 228 Candle Company out of Pascagoula, Mississippi. She has her own candle company, Caitlin Casto. Look at this card, Byron. Nice, fancy little card right there. I like the cursive writing right there. Here you go. Take one here.
What flavor has he got over there?
Yeah, he's got Downy April Fresh over there.
Okay.
You want to show yours there?
Sure.
So
There you go.
look at that.
Kind of a nice 10.
Yeah, nice 10. I got, apple cinnamon right here. So I want to thank Caitlin Casto for providing these. I do believe the extra one, somebody wanted one. I don't know if it was Raymond No or it was somebody, but somebody said when we mentioned gunpowder, they wanted one. And I think, guys, that's where that extra candle is coming in. That's the 228 Candle Company out of Pascagoula, Mississippi. Do we have the address on the website, Mike, of hers?
I'll double check it, and if we don't, we will.
We will put it on there. You can go to our website. You can go to our Facebook page, and you'll be able to get her address. Caitlin Casto, 228 Candle Company at Pascagoula, Mississippi. I tell you what, look at this. How
Yes,
about that?
they even have your
Melts.
melts.
Yeah, the melts.
Hey, and not only they're made in the USA, but they're made in Mississippi.
Pascagoula, Mississippi, right there at her place. She does a wonderful job. Her name is Caitlin Casto. If you want a candle, be a great gift. They're really inexpensive. 7 candles, $123, man. You can't beat that with a stick.
And you know how to spell Mississippi, don't you?
Mississippi. That's the way we spell it.
And my crooked letter.
Okay, yeah. That's for people that's not from there. Anyway, that's
Speaking of
good.
gunpowder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got gunpowder?
I got gunpowder.
Okay, that's good.
Let me have a word
All
with
right.
that.
Hey, do we have any callers? Any callers, Mike?
Not yet.
All right, let me read a couple of comments. So, Tammy Testone, oh, man, I smell that, man. That smells really, all that smells, whoo, Mary Rainbow's watching from Tennessee. Hello, good-looking guys. How are you? She said we're all good-looking. I know she's talking about Byron and Mitchell. Anthony, I knew the answer when you said
Probably
strong
right.
damage. We cleaned it up for 3 weeks or more, moving trees and debris. I guess Tony's over there in Tallahassee, so
Yes.
I guess they got a good portion of that.
Around.
Deborah Anderson Clayton. Hey, Deborah, good to see you. It's been a while since I've talked with you. Thank you for joining in. Benny Jackson is on. Good evening, sir. How are you? Get
Hello,
ready to
Benny.
kick off the show. Hey, callers right now, 904
That's
458 7588. Anybody want to call and talk about anything? They can ask us anything. You got anything that's on your mind, weighing on your mind? Call us. We'll try to help you out.
And I tell you-
David's got a degree in philosophy, so he can philosophize anything. Mike, philosophize, whatever. What did Roadhouse say? Anyway, that's it.
After the end of this show, I'm going to need a psychiatrist.
Yeah, well, Michael, meteorologist.
I'm going to need one of Sam Adams specials is what I'm going to need.
Well, you're going to need a Sam Adams special after that man bun video. So, Mitchell, oh man,
That was good,
It's
guys.
going-
Really, that was very good, guys.
But really,
yeah, we kept it quiet, brother. We had to.
that
It
was
was,
good.
yeah, it was really good.
But really, I like some people that's watching the show call in and
Yeah.
tell us how you feel about both of those schools being closed in the near future. Because I'm going to talk about a little bit of it tonight and
Yeah.
when that meeting's going to be held.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So you got just another minute or so to call into the show. I tell you what, David, and there's nothing. I'm sort of I don't want to say disappointed, Mike, but I'm sort of down a little bit that we don't have as many phone callers as I thought we would have when we instilled the phone lines. Aren't you a little bit? We've had several.
I think a lot of it's because of the fact that people just enjoy being able to interact through Messenger. I think that's, I think
Yeah.
they feel more inclusive with that as opposed to you.
Yeah, it's hard to get on the air and talk about things, especially if it's something personal. Yeah, that's hard to really do.
Well,
Maybe they think you're gonna put them on the spot, David.
Daggum, that's twice we got you. Yeah, so.
and the other thing is, some people just don't like talking live. I mean, they have an issue with actually being recorded live.
Right. Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
It's fine. I mean, the next round table.
All right. Well, we have a caller, Mr. Byron Bagwell. Who's our caller there?
This would be Mr. Tony Black from Tallahassee.
Good
Mr.
evening,
Tony.
Tony.
Good evening, Tony. How's it going, brother? All right. How you doing, Tony?
Hold on one second, Tony.
Tony, hang on. Michael's gonna situate the phone. Good evening, Jimmy Sparks. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Hello there, Jimmy. He says, good evening, hey, Mr. Friday Night. Hey there, Tony. How's it going?
How's it going, guys? Late happy birthday to Mr. Rodgers and Mr. Bagwell.
Thank you very much. And tomorrow, we've got one coming up. Mr. Mitchell Gunner, Tony, will be 46 tomorrow.
Oh, 26.
You told me 46. Oh,
20,
sorry. Okay.
26.
26. My
I
bad.
was going to ask Mr. Gunner how the drag racing's going down in Gainesville.
Well, we thought that we were going to have a successful weekend last weekend, but apparently the rain took care of it. Mother Nature won. And we're supposed to get back to racing this weekend out at Gainesville. Need some redemption. I didn't do very well in the last DT bracket race. I was having some issues. Some of it, I think, was the driver. Some of it was the car. I found a little issue with the power from the battery. It would make the car go into safe battery mode.
Right.
And it could have hurt my reaction times because everything is driven by wire, the throttle. So hopefully I got all that sorted out, and hopefully the rain will hold off on this Saturday. And hopefully
Looking forward to a good race,
I
right?
hope I go some good rounds, even if I
We're
don't
pulling
win.
For you.
Hopefully,
Hey,
I'll.
we're pulling for you.
I appreciate it. I need a couple of good
And
points
you have a happy
races.
birthday.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hey, Tony, also want to bring up a couple of things here. First of all, if you're watching the show, which I know that you are, if you look at the bottom of the screen and you see that ticker going across, if you happen not to catch the news, or maybe you're behind, you're trying to get some things done, and you're trying to catch up with the news, Dave Holland has done an amazing job putting together what we call our bottom third right there, where you see on the spot with David Rodgers, you see the scrolling across. Those are actual news stories and local and national news stories that's happened recently. Right. So you can catch up with the news. How about that, Tony? Look at there. You're famous now. Caller Tony Black's on the line right there. You'll see that coming up in a few minutes. So, all righty, Tony. Anything else, big guy?
No, that's it, man. I'll give y'all a holler next time. I just figured I'd give y'all a holler and ask Mr. Mitchell how the drag racing was going down there.
I need points. I need at least. I like to stay at least in the top 5 and go to divisional finals. I can still go if I'm in the top 10.
Yeah.
But just looks a whole lot better when we're in the top 5. And we've got a lot of track champions in that class, and it's really, really tough.
I want to address something. Thank you, Tony.
We have a class called Sportsman. So it is you have to at least run. You can't run no faster than 11:50.
Yeah.
And you can run as slow as 19.99. So even if you had a Yugo, you could go out there and compete. So, but most of the classes, most of the cars in that class are in the 12 to upper 11 seconds.
All right, Tony. Hey, thank you for calling in, big guy. Absolutely.
We'll be glad to have you out there.
All right, Tony. Hey, thanks a lot, big guy. Thank you for calling in, and we'll be talking with you soon. Mary, this you said it, Michael, right here. What I've been reading off. She says, I did call you. No one picked up. Yeah, so we want you to call again, Mary. It's 904-458-7588. 904-458-7588. If you're trying to call me on my personal phone, it's not going to work because we have it scheduled for this number. And I'm looking at y'all's guys' comments so I can get y'all into the show as well that way. So 904-458-7588. Couple of more minutes with this. My buddy, my other half of the Tornado football crew, Mr. Kevin Howes on. Say hello to Kevin.
Good evening, Kevin.
Good evening, Kevin. How's it going today? Hope everything's well. Your trailer's in good shape. I promise I'm going to bring it back to you just as soon as I pick mine up tomorrow. Coach Tomlinson's on, of course. So in your segment, I want to talk about the Cornhole Tournament that'll be coming up for the Tornadoes as well. So
great event, great opportunity to make some money and have a great time and support a great cause.
Yeah, so we're going to be out there doing that show live. That's May 7th, Friday night out there. So hopefully the weather holds up and everything goes good. It's going to be right there at the football field. What better place to hold it than that brand new football field, Byron?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that big, beautiful scoreboard. Yeah. I tell you, man, hey, I work over in Lake City, and that's all they talk about is our football field. Everybody wants to come see it, play on it. I think it's one of the prettiest football fields in this area, period, bar none. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
It's far better than that one that's in Gainesville. Every Saturday.
Coach will agree with it. Coach Thomas will agree with it.
And I tell you, after we get to that certain point in time, the track gets redone, we are going to have some of the best facilities in the state of Florida.
Yes, we are. And I tell you what y'all guys went to school here. Would y'all have ever thought that? Michael did too, didn't you, Mike? You went to school here for a little while, didn't you?
I'm Putnam.
Okay, you're Putnam. Okay.
I wasn't in Lockton.
So, did y'all ever think that y'all would ever see this, Byron, at any point?
I knew they would redo the field. I didn't
know
not
like that.
Not quite like what they've done.
Okay.
They've done a really good job on it. I knew they'd have to redo the field because sooner or later, people were going to start getting really hurt.
And I know a lot of people still criticize the moves that the school board made on doing the field that way. But the money they have saved on upkeep as far as mowing it and equipment like that, also the water. that you have to, sprinkle on the field
Yeah.
to keep the grass growing. And of course, when it rained, you had a lot of divots
Yeah.
out there,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you could get caught up and have a lot of injuries to your legs.
And the way that the football team has been playing the last 4 or 5 years, hey, they made the playoffs each and every year. Hey, but we'll talk about that on Friday night. I've got some interesting things going there. So if there's no more phone calls, let's jump right into the latest around our community with Mitchell Gunner. Here's What's the Scoop.
Community happenings and topics with our own local voice on current events, Mr. Mitchell Gunter.
Good afternoon, and let's get into the scoop, David.
Let's
What
do
you
it.
think?
I think so. Let's scoop it up.
All right, American Legion Post 56 in Stark will be hosting a day of prevention health screenings on Friday, May the 7th at their post located at 715 Edwards Road in Stark, Florida. Medical staff will be on site for screening for carotid disease and related disease, exactly.
And osteoporosis risk. There you go, Mitchell. Hey.
As well, and other risks. So you can visit the Lifeline screening website at www.discover.lifelinescreening.com to schedule an appointment. Gordon Smith in the Bradford Sheriff's Office presents Communities and Schools Derby Dash. The Derby Dash will include a bike race and a run race. The entry fee is $30 each. Each will take place at the downtown square on May the 1st at 8:30 a.m. and that is located at 538 East Call Street in Stark, Florida. So I'm going to tell you, it's a great opportunity to go down there and help our community and schools. Again, they have been hit hard in their fundraising efforts because of the COVID-19 situation. So if you got a bike or you got some good running shoes, head on down there, pay $30 and enjoy yourself.
I'll tell you what, Mitchell. I'll tell you what. You know what? I'll tell you what. Let's do this. I know you used to run cross country for Bradford. Hey, and you were pretty good back in the day. I'll tell you what. How about my fat tail rides the bike part and you do the running part?
I don't know about that, David.
You do the running man. Better yet, Byron.
The running man,
do the running man.
I can do the running man to dance.
Well,
but I don't know if I can still do the run.
Can you run?
I think Mitchell does the running man. Byron does the running bun.
The running bun.
The running bun. Hey, you get that nice little bounce going.
That's it, I'm telling you.
What?
It'll
He's
look
trying
good.
not to laugh. He's trying not to laugh.
Hey, we can actually film it and put it on the air in slow motion and play.
Yes, we can.
Chariots of Fire with it.
No, we play Bun Watch.
Bun watch. There you go.
Oh,
Anything like Baywatch?
that was you.
Hey, I was playing We Were the Champions the other night, Thursday night, trivia, so I wouldn't be saying much, Mr. Creator.
You do have him on that.
Yeah, you do.
You do have him on that, Byron. Yep.
At least for a week.
Yeah, at least for a week. There you go. Jeff Riggins, thank you for tuning in. Yes. JD and Norman, what's up, brother? Hey, you're doing a great job too, my man, and we'll talk pretty soon. What you got, Mitchell?
All right, I want to step into our Bradford County School District. They will be holding a public forum on Wednesday, April the 21st. That is tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Bradford High School Auditorium. The forum will be held to discuss the possibility closure of Brooker Elementary and Hampton Elementary and the rezoning of those students to Stark. Now, one thing, per se, on my side, thinking about that situation, I think before we move into closing those schools, I think we need to make sure that the new school is constructed first, and that is in play. That way, when it comes to rezoning, it'll be a whole lot easier. Instead of, closing those schools early, rezoning those students to go to Southside and Stark, and then have to turn around and rezone them again.
Right.
to be able to attend the new school, which most of Southside Elementary students will be going over there anyway.
So, Mitchell, when is the new school planning on opening? What's the latest and greatest that you're hearing on that?
The last time I heard that it was 3 years out, but
Okay.
as all of us know, they were allotted so much money per year to get the school
Right.
up and built. But, with the price of gas going up, the cost of everything has gone up as well.
Right.
And so there might be a shortfall in the budget a little bit when it comes to building.
Right.
I'm actually going to ask some questions. I'm going to try to go tomorrow night, even though it's my birthday. I'm going to try to go and talk to some people off to the side and see when the clearing of the land is actually going to take place. And also another thing that's important is how much dirt they're going to have to bring in to bring up the
To
foundation.
bring up the foundation,
because
right.
it is
A
in
lot
kind
of
of in a low-lying area.
A lot, and
Right.
they've got that. They had cleared some of that off, Mitchell. The last time I drove by there, some of that was cleared.
Right. During this time, there will be a short demonstration, a presentation,
Right.
Followed by questions from the public. And if you wish to attend, please go ahead and get your questions ready.
Yeah.
And prepare in advance. It'll make the whole transition go a whole lot easier. All public comments will be held to no longer than 4 minutes. So for more information, you can contact the school district office at 904-966-6860.
I want to ask you guys before you get to the next thing there, Mitchell. Ask Michael Heater too, and get Dave's comments. What do you think? What you're hearing right now on the streets, of course, that's word on the street right now. Are y'all thinking that a lot of people's mad about the closings of these schools, or do you think they're going to get a lot of feedback here at this meeting? What do y'all think? I just want to hear from each and every one.
I think there's going to be a mix of both. There's people who live over in Brooker, and the school is right down from their house.
Right.
And if their child gets sick there at the elementary school, they can be there in a matter of a few minutes. But if their child is being, sent over here to Southside or Stark Elementary,
Right.
that few minute ride will become 15 or so minutes.
Yes.
And maybe even more.
Right.
So
Depending where you live at Brooker.
that's correct.
yeah.
Because, you look at the town of Brooker, but there's some outlying areas
Yes,
where
sir.
people live almost to Alachua County line and over to the Union County line. So, yeah,
Byron,
it's
what
going
do
to
you
increase
think?
that time.
What do you think, Byron?
I think it's a mixed bag.
You think it's a mixed bag too?
I think it's a mixed bag, and people always, when they have things go on like this, and you're
Right.
dealing with people's children, you're always going to have some people that are furious,
Yep.
and they think that it's not fair. Now, the biggest problem is when you start talking about budgets in a small county like Bradford County.
Right.
And if it makes more sense to the county to actually have one school that actually basically services all of those areas, and they
Yeah.
can afford to build a nice new school, and they do that, and it makes sense out of the budget, that's what they're going to do. And it's going to make some people mad, and it's going to make some people happy. And then you're going to have questions like the middle school's going to be housed there eventually too, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it's going to be the new
Okay.
elementary school, and the other half of it is going to be the new middle school.
So what you're going to have is you're going to have questions like we had at one time about how, I don't want my elementary school student
Right.
around middle schoolers.
Right.
Well, they're dividing that.
They're divided.
That is, there will be the office and everything will be in the middle, and they will be separated by fences.
They're separated by fences.
Yes.
So there's ways around some of
Right.
the problems and concerns, but also at the same time, you're still talking about a school system that has had Hampton Elementary and has had Brooker Elementary forever, since before I was born, since before probably
Sure.
you were born.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
I mean, it's been there for a long time. My mother taught at
Yeah,
Hampton.
we're talking history
So, I mean-
now. We're talking history of schools in Bradford
Yeah,
County.
So anytime you do that, people are going to be sad, and there's going to be problems.
Michael, I don't know if you was going to get into this, but I thought about something. What about the teachers that are going to lose their jobs over this? Is it? I didn't even know. So is that something you was going to address?
No, but that's one
Yeah.
of the comments. However, and Byron and Mitchell hit it on the head. There's going to be a mixed bag. More people upset than happy. But
Right.
look at big picture stuff. Let's go back 6 weeks ago. when there was the big brouhaha in Putnam County over Melrose Elementary School
Yeah,
closing.
yeah.
And the community came out en masse and said, no, we don't want this. Well, the reason why Melrose was being shuttered in the first place was because of not so much of the population and not so much of the per capita for students. It's the fact that every county recognizes that the state Department of Education will fund, through grant money, new construction. The theory behind this is, and they're not going to say this out in public, but let me just let you know a little secret.
You're correct, Mike.
If you
you're right.
pull the students out of Hampton and Brooker elementary schools, and all of a sudden now there's indication that there is growth and that these schools are now at capacity where you've got 35, 38 students per teacher, and you don't have teachers that are employed anymore. Now that you can go to the state and go, hey, we're busting at the seams. We'd go back to Brooker Elementary School, but wow, it's not in compliance with the current code.
Codes.
It's not in compliance with the current ADA. It's not in compliance with state DOE. So what do? The state says, no problem. We have grant funding available to improve or rebuild the elementary schools. So you're taking away from the community in the hopes that the funding will come in that the county cannot afford to build a brand new school to make it even better in the future for future generations.
And when you look at these schools, Hampton
Good job, Mike.
and Brooker, you got to think of the age of the school when they were built.
Yeah.
You have to look at how much per year they're spending in their budget on maintenance.
Oh yeah.
And you know, everything may look good when you walk in and look at the walls, but what a lot of people don't understand, there's a lot of stuff in the ceiling,
Yep.
and there is twice as much in the ground.
In the ground.
And
Yeah.
a lot of those, the plumbing, it could be cast. I don't know if it is cast, but if it's cast, you know, what happens with cast over time? It starts to rot away at the top, cracks start to open up, then you start getting gases coming up through your floors and your rooms. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but you got to think of those things when you look at these older schools. That is one of the reasons why at Southside Elementary that they quit putting a whole lot of money in there and started putting Band-Aids on it because they knew this new school was coming. You don't want to go in there and spend millions of dollars on something and then move those students out. You want to, you know, utilize it, patch it, get by until that new school is built. And you have to look at that whole daggum time frame of your maintenance and what's being done. I mean, we're changing lights to LED, you know, to reduce costs, and that's probably what's going to happen in this new school. There are going to be LED lights all throughout it, and that saves your maintenance department a lot of money because they're not having to go in there and change balances because they're good for 8 to 10 years.
There's little things there that you're talking about, Mitchell,
and it adds up,
and it adds up to not only hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and even more thousands of dollars. Here's my two questions, Byron, to you and Mitchell, and we'll move on. And that is, I didn't see Patricia. I'm sorry, I didn't see your question. But the first thing I thought was jobs, about the teachers that are going to be, and the paras, and the cafeteria workers are going to be losing a job.
You're still going to need those teachers because you're set by a standard by the state of Florida that you're only allowed so many students per teacher. So I don't think those teachers are going to lose those jobs. They're going to have to travel with those kids.
Here's my other question. Y'all know Southside. Y'all know the building. I won't even get into that. Y'all know how it is. Stark, a newer school, been around a little bit shorter than Southside has. Here's going to be my question, and I hope somebody's addressed it. Is there enough capacity and enough room at these schools at this current time without having to put trailers, without having to put extra housing and extra building for these students? I don't know how many's at Brooker right now. 200, maybe?
I'm not for sure their numbers.
At Stark, there are no trailers.
Right.
Stark Elementary, there are no. The last time I looked at South Elementary, there was.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something else. Those same trailers and those same buildings were there when I was in elementary school.
And what Mitchell just said about the coding of these buildings.
They were there when I was in me, personally, I was in elementary school.
And I'm like you, David. I don't think, you know, if we do make that move of shutting both of these schools down, I think it should be put on the back burner a lot. You know, we also getting a lot of pressure from the state of Florida.
From the state of Florida, right.
The Department of Education
right.
on this as well. So it's not just your school board members and your superintendent. There's a lot of pressure coming down from Tallahassee.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think we should close them like you.
Right.
Until after that school's built.
Correct.
Then you
No.
do your rezoning.
Yep.
And then you put everybody in place where they're supposed to go.
I agree.
See,
Michael, you agree with that?
Absolutely.
David? Yeah, everybody is in agreement with
I
that.
agree with that. But the question is for that is how long is the state going to tolerate some of these schools being out of code before
Well,
they
that's the
start
other
actually
thing.
Right.
fining
Well,
Bradford County money? for that?
Actually,
Right, that's a good question.
they're in code because they go by the code that they were built,
Okay.
not by the new code.
So grandfathered
But-
in. Those buildings
right.
are grandfathered
But
in. Okay.
if there's, but as far as ADA, they did have to make those adjustments for
Right.
those students.
Right,
You know that
right.
that's understandable. But you know if you added on, like Southside Elementary
sorry.
or Southside Elementary has added on a bunch of buildings, those buildings are built to a different code than the other part of the old part of the
building.
school.
The old building.
But only when you build.
We'll come. Wait, we'll get back into
Yeah,
that. This is a great subject. We'll do some research on that.
Oh, definitely.
With the meeting, see how that goes,
Right.
and maybe you can report. What's happening this Saturday, Mitchell?
This Saturday at 6 p.m., the Bradford High School and Middle School jazz bands joins forces to present to you an evening concert full of classical and modern jazz music.
So going to that.
I am
This
going
event
to it
is
too.
free to the public, and all are welcome to join in the fun.
Let me tell you what. If you haven't heard these bands play, first of all, this man right here, hey, he started off what's now the middle school band. I mean, hey, you was that first hire, after it sort of dwindled down, you was that hire, and you had a vision of what you wanted to do. And my daughter was in 6th grade at the time when you was teaching that. And you had a vision, and we just carried out that vision. Yes, we struggled for years. But look where it's been coming out.
I can't take full credit for
No,
that
I mean, there's Dean Castles.
Dean Castles is really the one that started that. He
Yeah.
preceded me, and I'm not sure he was there a whole year before that.
Right.
But he laid the groundwork for it.
Right.
And there was a teacher at the high school at the time that had been the middle school director for a long time.
that Jim
Jim Brownlee.
Yeah, Brownlee.
Jimmy
Okay,
Brownlee.
Brownlee. Okay.
And basically what I did was I took ideas from all of them.
Right.
And it worked.
Yes, it did.
And then we had a
Then there was
superintendent come in
Yeah.
and decided there didn't need to be a band director at the middle school.
But
So
hey,
that's
great
what
guy, great guy right here, knows his music. I tell you what, if anybody's looking for a band director, this is the guy right here.
Oh no.
You give him a string and a bucket, and he can play you a tune.
There you go. How about that? All right, what you got?
All right, then we're getting into Bradford County news.
Yeah.
On May the 3rd at 9:30 a.m., the Bradford County Commissioners will hold their meeting at the Commissioners' room located at the Bradford County Courthouse.
Okay.
But on May the 6th at 6 p.m., the Bradford County Commissioners will hold a workshop at the Governor Charlie E. Johns Conference Center. So far, if something changes, we will post that on our site if the location gets changed. The workshop will discuss funding for the Bradford County Fire Department. And with that being said, next Tuesday night,
Really?
we will have Mr. Alan Parrish, our Chief Carter, and one of the EMT supervisors, David Rodgers, to join us
My third cousin.
and discuss some of this and what's going on. I thought it would be best to come out of their mouths because they are the ones that are having to deal
Yes.
with the budget. I went to the last county commissioner meeting. I know I might get some, bad voodoo from some people, but one of the things I mentioned, they talked about the tax assessments at one time being $300. Well, one of the things I brought up at that meeting, maybe we can talk about the tax assessment, the fire assessment again. But I think the $300 was a little bit over the top. I think that needs to be reduced, quite a bit.
Yeah.
And another thing that we need to start looking into is impact fees when it comes to construction of new homes and businesses in Bradford County. But every other county around us charges those impact
they do.
fees. Clay County charges $14,000.
Yeah.
The thing is, we don't have to go that high.
Nope.
We could go with $4,000 or $3,500
Right.
impact fee because a little bit of money is better
Better
than
than no
no money
money.
than our fire department, and they deserve it. I'll tell you what, if you ever want to see what's going on, get on the CAD Michael can vouch for it because he works right there in the 911 center. All the calls that come in daily, isn't that right, Michael? I mean, they come in sometimes 5 and 6 calls at one time, 2 or 3 wrecks at one time, a house on fire, and
he's talking to 2 or 3, and he's got 3 on hold, man, and it's just it's a steady.
And the thing is, we need to fund that department because all services cost money.
Yeah.
Do you want to be holding the bag with your wife laying on the floor, think she's having a cardiac arrest, and they say, well, we will get there sometime. We're trying to get there as soon as possible, and they keep you on the phone, and 911 dispatcher tells you how to give your wife CPR to keep her going until they arrive.
Either that or, hey, all of us would go, all right, thank you very much. Click, I'm taking it myself, and you're going to run her to the hospital. And then guess what you're going to do? Now you're going to put yourself in danger and put everybody else in danger.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's going to be a very good discussion meeting.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I would like to see as many people in the county to show up to that.
We'll push that, Mitchell.
That's
we'll
right.
push that show next week.
The City of Stark Commissioners also having a meeting tonight that started at 5:30 p.m. They will discuss the RFQ for professional engineering services. The deadline for that RFQ application was on April the 15th of 2021. So, and also something that happened this morning on County Road 221, which is right off of County Road 18 as you're going to 301. There was a wreck that happened at 5 o'clock this morning. Woke Mr. Heater up out of bed, and he responded right away, just like he would do any other call. And supposedly a oak tree had fell across the roadway, and this car ran up underneath the tree. The good thing about the gentleman that was driving the car was the back of the seat broke, and that's what pretty much helped save his life.
Wow.
Because the tree was on top of the car. And Michael can jump in and give us a little bit more information since you were on the scene.
Well, I didn't make it on scene because the firefighters that you speak about from Bradford County Fire Rescue
did an amazing job. From the time that Engine 90 arrived until they had the patient out of the vehicle was only 10 minutes using the jaws of life, which is a remarkable rescue effort. In this situation, though, and this is the second time in 3 weeks where we've had a road obstruction that was impacted by a passing vehicle during nighttime hours. 3 weeks ago, we had a semi that was blocking County Road 18 when a pickup truck went up underneath it. Those 2 passengers were seriously injured. This morning, much more favorable, again, because of the broken seat. The Bradford County Sheriff's Office actually put out a press release later on saying that people need to pay attention when they're driving, especially at night, and for crying out loud, please use your headlights. Don't rely on the automatic headlights to come on. Make sure you physically turn those on in inclement weather or nighttime operation. But yes, in this situation, it was the seat breaking is what actually saved his life, Mitchell, and it could have been a lot worse, but fortunately they were able to clear the road. And kudos to Jason Dodds and the Bradford County Public Works Department who went out there and had that road open within moments after the extrication was completed.
And Michael, you are exactly right when you talk about headlights, turning them on. Me and my wife, we went over to Gainesville this past Sunday, had dinner with the family, and we're heading back, and I started counting the cars from Gainesville's airport to my house. I passed a total of 15 cars driving without their lights on after dusk. There's no sense in it.
No,
not only they're putting themselves at risk, but they're putting other people at risk as well.
Yeah.
And that's the scoop for tonight, David.
All right.
So back over to you.
All right, I appreciate it. Hey, great job there by Mr. Mitchell Gunner, our local guru. What's the scoop? And I tell you what, hey, a lot of things going on in Bradford County. I'm sure there's a lot of things going on in your county. Here's one of the things I want to instill to you guys. Anybody that's listening outside this area, if you have an important story, please get a hold of us on the spot. Hey, our Gmail 32091. Yep. And you can post whatever it is that you want to post. Michael Heater will get it, and we'll incorporate a story from Tallahassee, Baton Rouge, Van Cleve, Pascagoula. Hey, Gulf Breeze. Hey, even as far as where? The Bahamas, where Jimmy Langley is. We don't care. If it's newsworthy, we'll print it.
Bring it.
Yeah, hey. What's that New York Times old saying? News, the print.
Oh,
That's exactly
it
right.
wasn't we suck.
Just one thing, real quick, David.
Yeah.
I am still trying to work on a signal being put up on both sides before 227.
I was going to ask him.
There at 301 because we've had so many crashes right there. Yep. And it's really no reason why we have so many crashes there when the lights are so visible.
So visible. Yeah.
You got to put down your phones, people.
Yep. I want to ask you about one thing. Can you check on one other thing for me as well?
Sure.
Unless Michael knows the answer. Excuse me. Sawmill Road. When is it going to reopen back up? Oh, you got it, Mike.
I got it.
Hey, switch it back over to Michael.
Since we were speaking about Jason Dawes, let me go ahead and give you guys a quick heads up on that one. County Road 200A coming out of Lottie. It's headed south toward 301, has been reopened. The bridge work that was being completed by the Public Works and Construction Company is concluded. That road reopened several days ago. You're now able to pass through that entire area. There are several other road projects that are still in progress. Of course, Madison Street, the overpass, you're going to see some major road closures every weekend now through the second weekend of May. That's weather permitting, so expect some detours and some slowdowns in the area. Also, if you're traveling between Melrose and Keystone Heights on State Road 21, look for daytime lane closures as they are widening the road and putting in some turn lanes right there around the Midway Circle K area, headed up towards Trinity Baptist Church. They're on 21 south of Keystone Heights. Dave?
All righty. Thank you, Mike, for that. I appreciate that. So I got my answer there. So, hey, and that's the scoop for tonight with Mitchell Gunner. We're going to be right back with the guy himself right after these messages.
Schuster and Sabin is the leading firm in Florida with 8 offices from the Panhandle to the Florida Keys to handle your claims for personal injury, workplace violations, and PIP claims for medical professionals. Visit us online at www.piplaw.com or call 24 hours a day at 877-511-7829. Schuster and Sabin Law Offices for all your legal needs. And now, with the latest national and international update, here is Your World Report with Byron Bagwell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
And the millions. Never mind. Keep going,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Infidels,
Uh-huh. Yep.
patriots,
Yep.
and miscreants.
Yep.
I am the Byron Bagwell.
Yeah! The
With
Byron
your national
Bagwell.
update.
We're not worthy.
We're not worthy. Yeah,
Yes, you are worthy, my friends. You
All
are
right.
all worthy, my friends.
All right.
in
We're
this
all
together. I wanted to talk about some different things tonight, but something happened earlier today that we needed to talk about.
Okay.
The verdict came in the Derek Chauvin case. And Derek Chauvin was basically convicted on all 3 of the counts: second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and manslaughter. Second-degree manslaughter. So what's going to happen now is there is going to be 8 weeks of nothing, basically, and then they're going to come back with his sentences.
Right.
He could end up with somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 years in prison.
Right.
So what is going on with this, I would like to talk a little bit about. There's a couple of things that really bother me about this trial, because there is such thing as something called due process in this country. From the beginning of this, whether this man was guilty or not of all of those is just basically opinion of everybody until he's actually convicted from basically a jury of his peers.
Right.
Now he's been convicted. My question is this: how, with all of the media attention and everything else that's going on in this country, did this man ever get a fair trial? How do you find jurors that have heard nothing about this? The likelihood of finding jurors in the same town that have heard nothing about this is 0. The jurors were not sequestered. We had the highest law official in the nation commenting on it, our president. We had another member of our government go down there yesterday and basically saying that if they don't get the verdict that they wanted, that there should be basically serious consequences in the streets. And yes, I'm talking about Maxine Waters.
Yeah.
Okay. How does somebody get a fair trial with all of this? Now, I'm not saying the man's innocent. I believe the man's innocent of the first 2 charges, but how do you get a fair trial with all of that?
Well,
how does a judge not move that trial somewhere else? Say like, I don't know, the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah.
How do you get a fair trial?
Well, let me say this, Byron, and you were talking about the way due process and the way that our justice system works. Now, he will have an appeal process.
Yes.
He's going to get his appeal process.
First 4 weeks.
First 4 weeks. And
well, yeah, he'll have an appeal process.
Yeah.
And he'll have a very strong case for the case to all 3 of those to be completely thrown out.
Correct.
If they can prove that anybody heard Maxine Waters run her big mouth on a microphone in front of those mobs.
And that's exactly what they're going to use.
They're going to use that.
They've got to be able to prove one of the jurors actually heard that. If the jurors actually heard that, this case is completely over and it's thrown out.
And it's thrown out.
It's thrown out. And then what you're going to have is the same thing that happened when George Floyd was actually killed to begin with. Whether you believe George Floyd did that to himself or whether you believe Derek Chauvin did that. That's what's going to happen. And this is a matter of not just Derek, what happens with Derek Chauvin to me.
Right.
This, to me, matters because this is not justice.
Well, and you're right. Washington should not be sticking their nose in a court case. None of those senators or congressmen,
the president,
or even the president, should not even incite on a court case that is going on, because you're right. It makes it. He may file if he is guilty. I'm just going to put this out there. If he is guilty, for them running their mouth like that to get an appeal process, guess what? He may be able to beat it the next time, and then you got a guilty man. That's free.
Going free. Here's the other thing. You also have Nancy Pelosi running around agreeing with Maxine Waters, which is absurd. She is the third highest office, holds the third highest office in our government, and she's interfering with a separate branch of government by doing that.
Right.
So you've got the president and the third highest office in the United States doing that. It is a violation of their basically the separation of powers is what it really is.
Right.
But what Maxine Waters did is worse. Because what that can be seen as obstruction of justice. And it also can be seen as inciting violence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
we listen to
and they should bring that up on the floor.
And I want to stop you guys right there, just real quick. And that's a great point that you bring up. I wasn't so sure that I wanted to bring this up right away just because of the way that the verdict came out. But it's a great, great topic. We talked about this. Look, we all have our opinions about this. And I want to say this first and foremost. We all have our opinions. We all have our doubts and whatever the case may be of what really happened that day. The trial that's been going on. Look, we're just giving you facts here. It's up to you.
That is exactly what I have done tonight. Because I can give you ample reasons in my mind why he should not have been guilty of murder. Right. Either one of those counts of murder. Because quite frankly, the first autopsy that was done, which is the only one that really should count, nobody should get a second autopsy done by your family and it just completely and totally just go against what the first autopsy says. That doesn't make sense. That's setting stuff up is what that is.
Right. And again, we're just bringing you the information. Right. You decipher, you determine on what you believe in as far as what happened today with that case.
How do you kill a man that's killed himself with fentanyl? I mean, He's resisting arrest. He's swallowed enough fentanyl to kill himself. They're following protocol, and you can say what you want to about this, from a person who is high on something for that. They tried to put him in a car. He would not stay in the car. He was resisting arrest. Now, Chauvin did way more than he should have.
Absolutely.
And he should pay for that.
Yes, he
but
should.
murder? He didn't murder George Floyd. Nobody can ever change my mind about that. The drugs that were in that man's system is what killed George Floyd. The first autopsy proved that. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about police brutality and police officers killing African Americans, which is absurd. Because if you look at the breakdowns of the numbers, it does not back that in fact. It's talking points by people who are trying to divide us. That's exactly what it is. Now, to me, like I was saying, this goes a lot deeper than any of that. Because if we don't have a justice system that really functions, and we have people that are allowed to interfere with that justice system to the point where we already know what's going to happen with this because they don't want people killing each other on the streets and burning and looting and doing all of that stuff. Are we still the United States of America as founded? Or are we still the United States of America at all, that we believe in equal justice for everyone?
Well, you have,
That's a good point.
you have branches of government for a reason. One should not pressure another one.
Well, we have people running around now saying that a democracy and a republic are the same thing. I've actually heard people say that and make arguments that because there are parts of our government that have democratic processes in it,
Right.
that it means a republic and a democracy are the same thing, which is the height of utter stupidity because they are nowhere near the same thing.
Right.
Everything is turned upside down. That's like another thing that's been going on, and I won't get into this very far, but our government is now not calling illegal aliens illegal aliens. There is nothing offensive about that except to maybe the people who don't understand the English language, because illegal has a meaning and alien has a meaning. It simply means not from the place they're in.
Right.
When we go over to France, we are aliens in France.
Yeah.
It's simply a word that has been ostracized by certain groups in this country, and it is absurd. They are destroying the English language on purpose for a political agenda, and it infuriates me. Because quite frankly, before I even got into politics, my mother was a elementary school teacher whose one of her favorite subjects was English. I remember from being a very young child, if I had an allowance, and if I misused the English language, I lost 10 cents of that allowance every time I said stuff like ain't.
You ain't?
You ain't?
You will hardly ever hear those words come out of my mouth now because of that. My mother taught me.
You lost a lot of money, didn't you?
Well, to begin with, I did.
Yeah.
And then I learned not to say that around my mother. Now, if I was around the boys and my mother wasn't in earshot, yeah, I was going to say stuff like that. But I learned how to see. Yeah. That's the difference. I learned how to speak in certain company, and I learned another way to speak when I wasn't in that certain company. But English words have meaning, and those meanings are sometimes very powerful, like alien, racist, justice, liberty, and we're taking those words and we're twisting them, and it's not right. Now, going back to this court case, it is what that jury decided to do. I have a very hard time understanding, and I know that there was a new video played that showed Chauvin not getting off of him. The crowd was begging him to get off of him. He should have got off of him.
Yes, he should have.
The man should have gotten off of him when he wasn't struggling anymore.
Yeah.
He was guilty to me of manslaughter. Maybe. See, I still have an issue with that. When you have enough drugs in your system that you're doing that against a police officer to begin with and you're going to die anyway, how do you kill somebody that's going to die anyway? There was no proof that any of the actual damage to his body, the bruises that are caused when you asphyxiate somebody, there was, in the original autopsy, there was none of that. See, and that's my whole issue with this. If he strangled him to death, that evidence would have been there, and it wasn't.
Well,
And I don't get it.
well, and let me add on to that a little bit here, if I may. Look, at the end of the day, you're talking about police officers. Do I think most police officers know their job, know what they're doing,
Oh, yeah.
are good cops?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I believe that there's a few rotten apples in the bunch and that they take advantage of their powers their power trip a little bit and looking for some things like that? I absolutely do. But look, hey, in any job that you go and do, Michael, when you was a firefighter, did you have a few rotten firefighters, a few rotten apples in the fire department?
There was. I mean,
Yeah.
you're looking at a few folks that were a bit of an issue, and it wasn't that they were necessarily evil or anything like that. It simply was because they were, probably just weren't the right fit for the level of service that we wanted to provide. Now, those are few and far between in public safety, and the problem is that you get like 2% of law enforcement that gets 90% of the attention.
Right.
And that kind of puts a bad taste in everyone's mouth. But when in actuality, public safety officials are held to a very high standard from the very beginning of their career and in their training. So to target 2% of the national population for 80% of the condemnation that you're seeing is unfortunately a political move, not necessarily a policy move.
Michael, you're very familiar with police policies. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Is when a person is resisting arrest, and that person is not intoxicated in any manner,
Are the actual policies any different than a person who is out of his mind on something?
There is some changes that go into play with that one, and the kicker here has to do with the mental health well-being. There are policies that are in place depending on the agency as to whether or not that they are to be forced or restricted in a certain manner. The big thing that everyone has to deal with, though, is the personal safety of the officer. The secondary is going to be the personal safety of bystanders and the public, and then dealing with the situation. Now, do we use soft restraints? Do we use alternative measures? Do we have ways of dealing with this? Absolutely. And that's all part of the training that goes in here. The best law enforcement officers are that way because of their level of training, as much as it is about their personality. Unfortunately, some of the worst officers in the nation are a product of their training or lack thereof, in addition to their personalities.
And see, do I believe in police reform? Absolutely, I do. To a degree. And now, let me tell you what. And what I mean by that is I think that there ought to be more intensive training on situations. We've seen these situations already in our country here the last year, couple of years, since this has been going on. We can take that, Byron, as a learning tool and put this into training procedures within our police officers, especially new and upcoming police officers for sure, and even the old ones that are old school and have the old school mentality need this training as well.
Well, and you can't defund them if you want this training.
You have to actually fund them more.
Right.
So, and here's something I want to say about this. Fix society's problems, and guess what happens?
Well, everything else falls into place.
This is a societal problem. This isn't a police problem.
Right.
To a point. This is a societal problem. You can say what you want to. You can call me cold. You can do whatever you want to with this. George Floyd was a convicted felon. One of the charges George Floyd had on him was he actually held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach while his friends robbed their house. The police officers knew that. There was a place of business that's saying he was passing counterfeit money at the time that this happened. So if you don't think a police officer knows that going into that situation and think this guy can be violent and they react the same way, see, when I was growing up, I was taught that you are responsible for your personal actions. Mm-hmm. And if you commit personal actions like George Floyd did, guess who's coming after you?
5-0.
5-0's coming after
Yeah.
you. And you're putting yourself in that position. You can say what you want to about it's my circumstance in life and I was brought up this way and I was brought up that way. I've seen people come out of just miserable conditions with parents who aren't good, and they become really good members of society. Some have even went on to become millionaires and billionaires. It happens. Okay, millionaires, billionaires have nothing to do with it. They can be preachers or whatever else, and they don't turn to a life of crime. We need to talk about the root cause of what happens in society instead of the actions of what happens as a consequence of that. And what I'm saying is something that I've said from many times, quoted many times, if you're a Facebook friend of mine. It is a Ronald Reagan quote. We need to stop having society be held responsible for individuals' actions. It's basically, that's how the quote breaks down. If you put yourself in the sight of police officers, guess what? They're going to come after you. If you don't, those 2% that we were just talking about, they're not going to be there because they're not going to go after somebody who's not a criminal. Right. So I really think this whole entire country needs to take a look at this in a different light. I'm sorry the man's dead. Should Derek Chauvin have done what he did for as long as he did? No, he shouldn't have done that. And I've said that before. But at the same time, George Floyd put himself in that position. Nobody else. People can get mad at me if they want to. That's like saying I wouldn't put myself in a position if I went down to the downtown grill, took my 9, and went down there and robbed it. Police are going to come after me, and they're probably going to come after me with their firearms drawn. And if I do something stupid, guess what? I may be white, but I'm going to get shot. So personal choice comes into this. Some point we have to break this cycle of making people who are criminals heroes, because they're not. They're criminals.
Hey, and speaking of this, talking about, the possibility of riots breaking out and stuff, just a quick note. Our governor, Ron DeSantis, signed a bill just the other day that will hold these people very accountable for their actions, and also will hold cities and counties accountable if they do not do their job and police when a riot and stuff is about to happen in their area. So there is some blame on both sides.
Yeah, there is.
I tell you, it's going to happen.
Oh, that's in Florida. When he signed that, basically what he was saying to some of these counties that are soft on people who destroy people's property, I'm not going to allow you to because they're citizens of the state of Florida.
Right.
And that was a very good thing. That was one of the things I was going to talk about tonight a little bit.
Gotcha.
Because I wasn't going to do it. I wanted to talk about the Chauvin thing. But that's one of the things I was going to talk about, because basically one of the sheriffs basically come up and talked about that. And what he said was pretty much, we're just not going to allow it. You're not going to come here and be a criminal.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys.
And I think
you can protest all you want to, but the second you start doing things like
rioting,
throwing objective, rioting and looting, assaulting police officers, and assaulting our
citizens.
Our
well, how about
guards,
assaulting citizens?
Citizens, and doing things like that. You are no longer a protester. You are a criminal.
Right. And also,
period.
I agree.
Criminal of opportunity.
Criminal's criminal. I mean, that's like, I've had people say, well, she can't be a criminal. She was never convicted of anything. And I'm like, you don't know the English language. Because guess what? A criminal is a person that commits a crime. says nothing about being convicted of it. If you commit a crime, you are a criminal.
Right.
Period.
And another thing it protects is statues.
No, that's
Yes.
good.
Yes, but also about defacing and tearing them down. That's also in there. And I believe, I'll have to read it, but it also gives the private citizen to protect their house and their stuff as well.
Well, they already have that ability with the stand your ground law.
True.
So
But
you don't
I
want to
believe
come and do
that
that
I believe
stupidity in
that is
Florida.
also in that bill as well to back up that stand your ground.
Yeah, yeah. Look, you voice your opinion. That's what it means to be an American. You come and protest things that you don't think is right, that's fine. If I think it's wrong that you're doing that, I may stand on the corner opposite from you and protest you. But when you start becoming violent or you start looting and burning, that's when you stop being a normal citizen of this country and you become a criminal.
Yeah.
And that's what this is the conversation that we need to have in this country, because law means nothing anymore to some of these people. They do whatever they want to, however they want to, because they think our system is completely broken, and they want to change it into a vision of something that will destroy this country literally. The founder of Black Lives Matters is a Marxist.
Hey, where does she live?
Oh, and I'm not sure exactly where she lives, but it's a white neighborhood in a $3.2 million home. I can't remember what city it's in. And she just doesn't like white people and thinks that black man has been abused, and she's living in a $3.2 million home in a white neighborhood. People don't see a problem with it. People don't see a problem with this. Look, if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk, you apparently don't think white people are so bad because you're living with them. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I mean, good grief. And was handed an article from the Washington Post. Patrice Colors, or however she pronounces her name, the leader of Black Lives Matters, a self-described Marxist, recently purchased, it wasn't 3.2, $1.4 million home in an exclusive Los Angeles neighborhood where the vast majority of residents are white, according to reports. That's in the Washington Post. It's not exactly as well known as the New York Times, but who cares? That's a terrible newspaper anyway. Look, you're using the actual emotions of African Americans to your advantage. You have people believing that cops are just out there hunting black people. And it's not true.
Not Candace.
Oh no, Candace Owens don't believe that at all.
No.
And if you don't know who Candace Owens is, please Google it, or actually, what's better than Google is go on YouTube and type in Candace Owens and just start watching the videos.
Oh, she is
awesome. Is fantastic.
She is an awesome lady.
Oh my goodness, she's an awesome lady. See, I want everybody to understand two things from this conversation that we've had. First off is we need to start having a conversation about what is going on and what is wrong with our society now. Second thing is that in order for us to keep a society, we have to have laws. And when somebody breaks those laws, there has to be consequences for them. Those consequences cannot be monkeyed with, because when you start messing around with our justice system and the first highest person in our government and the third highest person in our government and a congresswoman put their 2 cents in about what a verdict should be in a trial.
And if these jurors watched it, they're going like, oh, I don't want to be the bad person in this.
Well, nobody's going to want to be the bad person in this, because they know all of those people outside that are threatening to riot are going to eventually find out who they are, because people like to dox people now. In other words, put all their information. and those people are going to be at their homes. Me, I wouldn't bother. That wouldn't bother me too much because I've got about 100 yards before they could get to my house, and I can promise you, in the state of Florida, I would get away with it. Promise you.
Yep.
So, but the whole entire thing is, we don't need to even have it at this point. We need to start having a discussion, a root discussion about why people commit crimes and how to stop it. And we need to do this soon. We don't. I mean, at the time being, police reform, fine. But until we get to the root problem of why people do that, some of it's just evil. Some of it you're not going to change. The percentage of crimes committed by people are just people that are evil. But some of it you can change.
I tell you right now, here, Byron, and that was a great topic, by the way, and great passion in saying that. Again, I want to say this. It sounds, we were giving you information. We wasn't saying anything. He said a couple of things that he believed in.
Some of this is my opinion.
Is his opinion.
Some of
it's not the opinion of all of us. It may be, you know what I'm saying? But I want y'all to know that when we spoke, we're just sending information to you. You take that information and figure out what you need to do with that. If you need to research that. If you believe in what he just said. If you believe in what I said. If you believe in what Mitchell said or Michael said. Or if you don't believe what we said, that's up on you.
By all means, if you research this and you think I'm wrong, please dial that number and let's have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Like adults.
Adults, yeah.
Because the conversations need to start happening between everybody in this country, or we're very quickly going to lose it.
Mm-hmm. And I think, and what I want to say to end this, Byron, is what I think, Dave, is happening right now. You know, we have people preaching unity. Everybody, unity, 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 unity. Let's bring everything back. Let's bring everything back. Here's the problem.
It's lip service.
That's exactly right. Because now the division, to me, has even gotten wider than what it was before.
It is.
And you've got here and here, and what Byron said about trying to get everybody together and talk about what's happening in society, changing the way we look at things. There's nobody in the middle to do that because this side is going to keep what they want. This side's going to keep what they want and what they want to see as a vision. And there's nothing in the middle here anymore except a bunch of dead air, if that's what you want to call it, a bunch of dead air. When guys like Byron, Mitchell, we want to work this together and come up with the solution. Here's the problem. Everybody that's in power in our government is over here. Where's the people that really believe in what they're wanting to do and what they're wanting to say? How come they're not in the middle? How come they're not here? How come it's us? How come it's us preaching what you just talked about this whole night?
Because there's a misnomer about what's right and what's left in this country anymore.
Right.
You have people saying that you have lunatics on the far right.
Right.
And you have lunatics on the far left.
Left, right.
Well, there are lunatics on the far left. And there are lunatics on the far right.
Yes, there are.
But the majority of the people that are in power that are in the right are really not far right lunatics. They're actually centrists.
I want to leave you with something, Byron, before we go on and close the show out here. I want to leave you with something, and maybe you can answer it right now or you can wait to answer it.
Yeah, sure, man.
Do you think what you just spoke about tonight, you're talking about due process, you're talking about bringing society back together, we talked about police reform, we've talked a lot of things, and basically what we want here on this show is for everybody to come together and let's fix the problems that are happening in our society right now, and it's not, like you said, just police. It's everything. It's everything. It's an individual too, where, like you said, you make a choice to do the right thing or the wrong thing, and when you choose the right thing, guess what? Nobody bothers you. You keep going and you do what you're supposed to do. If you do the wrong thing, as Byron said, now you are a criminal, and guess what?
They're
going to come get you.
Well, the problem, I believe, begins with our education, because we're teaching kids that even when they mess up, everything's all right, and it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you mess up, things aren't always all right. We've got to start making responsible adults out of children in ways that they don't go out into the public and actually do things that are going to attract them, black, white, purple, green, yellow, to break laws. Because when you do, that's how you gather the attention of police officers.
Right. So
that ends that. That ends George Floyd. George Floyd doesn't do what he did. Guess what? George Floyd's not having an E on his neck. Period.
Hey, so I do want to ask you this question before we go on to final comments. So, in saying what you just said and what we're wanting, do you think, and you don't have to answer right now, do you think it's too far gone to bring it back?
No, I don't.
Good. I'm glad you said that.
No, I don't. But we're going to have to find...
What are we going to have to do, Byron?
We're going to have to find some tremendous cojones from both sides is what we're going to have to do. Because we can't talk to each other anymore in this country without going, you're a lunatic.
Yeah.
And you're completely wrong.
And then this side,
there are some things that are somewhere that are placed in between. There are some things that are absolutes. But there are some things that you can meet people on. And what we need to meet people on is the fact that we need to take our children and we need to teach them moral values. Yes. Heaven forbid, bring up something with morals. But that's what we need to teach our children. We need to teach them how to become upstanding citizens and good adults. That way they don't have these interactions.
Right.
Can it happen with everybody? No. There have been criminals throughout history. A certain population, percent of your population are going to be criminals.
Yeah.
But we need to start educating our children more to understand the fact that not everything is all right.
Right.
Little Johnny just pulled somebody's hair. That's all right. No, that's not all right. Quit touching people. It's a beginning. It really is a beginning.
Hey, teacher, if I touched you in the classroom and you was like, David, leave me alone. You know what my teacher did? Took my hand, laid that palm open, and took a ruler
and smacked.
Bap, bap, bap. You won't touch anybody no more, will you?
Well, I mean, you're not
for that day.
You're not. I mean, some people.
I was hard-headed.
Some people are, and some people aren't, and the corporal punishment's not coming back because everybody's like, "Oh, poor little child." Well, I got a board on my rear end.
Oh, me too. Ooh.
And I
think Renee remembers maybe a couple of those.
I didn't get it very often because guess what? It taught me a lesson. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't have clear answers to it because when I talk to people now, because of my political views, everything that I say is wrong. Everything that I say is completely wrong for the most part. There are some people. There's a few people that are friends of mine that are
sure.
a little to the bit to the left that will talk to me a little bit. But it's still like there is this impasse on both sides.
See, and that's what I was at.
You can't get past those beliefs to talk to anybody to come towards the center.
Right.
Part of the problem is that we've been taught history as a living history and not actually what history is.
Right.
History's history.
Yeah.
You have to look at history through the lens of history. You cannot judge a person that was born in the 1700s the way you would judge a man that was born in the 2000s.
Right.
You cannot do it. The lifestyles were different. The social norms were different. It's history. You can look at a person and go, well, I don't like that person's decisions. But at the same time, you have to understand that he is a product of his society.
Right. Anyway, hey, Byron, we could continue on with this, and for sure we're going to continue on with this. Hey, you want to read that little segment there? That's you.
Yeah, and that's the world press tonight. I am the Byron Bagwell, and we will be right back after this with final comments.
Brought to you by Fun Point Food and Arcade, 1100 South Walnut Street in beautiful Stark, Florida. Fun Point is an all-in-one arcade and restaurant that is bound to raise your spirits, sure to please your taste buds, and the games will keep you entertained for hours. Fun Point Food and Arcade, 1100 South Walnut Street in Stark. Feel free to give them a call at 904-966-3380. Make a point to visit Fun Point.
Hey gang, just wanted to touch base with you. A real quick update on the weather forecast. What we're looking at here, pollen's going to be a concern for us over the next few days, but not as bad as it has been. And as you can tell from previously talking to Mitchell, Byron, and David, they sound better than they have in the past. And here's the reason why. You can see the pollen numbers have started to drop a little bit. Now tomorrow, Wednesday, going to be up a little bit, but nothing like it has been. They're going to level off as we go through the end of the week, and then on Saturday, the numbers are going to drop as a rock because of the fact that we have more rain coming into the forecast, but we're not going to deal with that right now. Let's talk about the next 3 days. On the regional map, I can show you what we're talking about here. Decent conditions, mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies as we move through the entire area. Everywhere from Pascagoula down here, headed up here to Baton Rouge, going all the way up here towards Knoxville, even over here towards Charlotte. Decent conditions as we go through the entire region today. But you're going to get a frontal boundary that's going to move through here, bringing us rain over the next 72 hours. So the areas to our north and west, you're going to see the rain coming in on Friday. Florida is going to hit you on Saturday. Mitchell, sorry, dude. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a washout. You may be able to get some racing in the first part of the day, but by 11 o'clock, forget about it, as Byron likes to say in his best man-bun accent. So let's talk a little bit about the local forecast. Yes, I did go there. So on the forecast, we've got numbers coming in.
Where did the New York accent come from?
It just felt right. It just felt right. So we're looking at the cloudy skies. Tomorrow we're going to get clouds. On Thursday, though, the clouds fade away. This is going to be our best day over the next 3 days because once we get back into Friday, partly cloudy skies, the temperatures in the 80s, but it's going to get worse as we move into the weekend. So with that being said, we want to make sure that you stay awake, be aware of the potential for some strong storms rolling in on Saturday. Austin, of course, will have the latest forecast on Austin's weather service. You can check him out. We'll make sure that we share his forecast as we move through the rest of this week and into the weekend. That is the latest from Austin's weather service. Dave, we're turning it back to you.
All right. Hey, that was a great weather report there again. Hey, great show tonight, guys. Mitchell on the local there had a lot of stuff. Mr. Byron Bagwell talking about a couple of great topics right there. We had some great 360.
I want to thank Mitchell for bringing up
Yeah,
the bill from
the bill,
Florida because
yeah.
that was
Absolutely. It all tied in, really.
Oh, yes.
So we're down here to final comments now. You got a little something, and I'm going to do something a little different tonight, too, on final comments. What you got, Mitchell?
To let everybody know, this Saturday is the spring plant sale. This is done by the Master Gardeners. That will be held at 2266 North Temple Avenue in Stark, Florida. The duration of the event is 4 hours. It is free to the public, except for the plants. You will have to purchase those.
Right.
And they are asking for people to wear a mask when they purchase the plant. So they're going to have all different types of plants there for sale. They're going to have blueberry bushes and lemons and all kinds of great stuff.
All right.
I might have to go get some of those blueberry
Yeah, and
bushes.
Donna Souls, who watches our show sometimes, is in charge of this.
She's one of the master gardeners.
Yes, big time. Very good there. Just wanted to hit real quick on just a couple of comments here. That's how we'll close out tonight. David, haven't shared this with you previously. My grandson is in the band at Calmer High School, junior high. He's playing trombone like his great-grandfather and uncle before him. Calmer band, dude. I remember. Let the flashbacks get started. I remember that. Their spring concert is May the 4th. Star Wars theme, by the way. How about that?
Even better.
Even better. Let's see. John Probst is on. Lydia Morris prom this Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, in Union County. They saying please drive safe over there. So they do have a prom. I think he was Renee. Just real quick she says she thinks he was convicted primarily because of the mobs and the burning down of the town and just the rioting and stuff. Yes, your opinion.
There are a bunch of people that are going to see it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
like I said, I don't. From looking at the autopsy, I
Right.
don't know how you do what you did, except for what you're talking about there.
Patricia Baker said, regardless, they made an example out of the police officer. Jeff Goins, Bobby Gibson from. Did you give a weather report in Tuscaloosa or Birmingham? Going to be sunny. Let's see. Dwight Allen, my brother. Hey, we got to go eat, by the way. I didn't get a chance to go eat with y'all that day. So, Mark Udy's on Cindy Bates, my old classmate.
You missed it.
Yeah. Let's see. Renee, David Rodgers. This is what happens when liberals are allowed to be above the law by enough politicians on both sides for a long enough time. Therein lies the creation of the deep state.
It's not liberals.
No.
They don't. That word is misused.
Yeah.
It's leftist, Marxist,
right.
or socialist.
The question is for you, Byron. You can answer the next show. Do you think the politicians should have stayed out of the media about the outcome of the trial? They were calling for a guilty verdict before the jury was in. He answered that for you, by the way.
I did answer
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think
Yes.
she should be promptly removed and barred from ever serving in the United States government again. Yes, and I think Nancy Pelosi should also be done the same way for backing her. Yes,
Now, I
both
don't-
of them should be gone.
Byron has a different opinion on this one, Mark, than I do, because I don't know, because I don't know the unknown. He says, a basic question. Would George Floyd, Byron, be dead if someone other than Siobhan responded instead? See, I can't confirm or deny that because I don't know. The circumstances would be different.
It may be different. It may not be different.
Right.
I think the question needs to be, instead of would he be dead if it had been another police officer responding, would he be dead if he'd not committed crimes before that?
Or
Right.
take all that fentanyl.
Well,
So-
I mean,
Yeah. Janet rolls on. He says, I thought Chauvin should have took the stand. What do y'all think that he didn't? Let you answer that next show. Sharon Pettiprin asks the same questions here. That's a great question, Roy Jackson. And I'm going to say yes, because Roy says, David, does any black people watch your show?
yes.
Wondering. Yes, absolutely. Great. We have a lot of great black friends and other races too, just not black. I've got some Chinese people that watch it. I mean, this show is well diversified, and we talk about anything. So Asian, yeah, Chinese, Japanese, Asian.
Oh,
you
Lord.
know.
What is the political correctness coming
yeah.
coming from
Yeah,
that
coming
corner
from
over there?
Mitchell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mitchell's laughing at me.
Yeah,
because
he's laughing at me
just
too.
like I
So
am.
anyway, they were saying again it was very low in the audio on Michael's weather report. Not sure what was going on there. Maybe we'll re-hit it. Friday night, we do have a show. Friday night, sports show. We'll talk about some other things too, mainly, but I want to talk about Bradford football, their schedule. I want to talk about the NFL draft. I also want to talk about the 1,400 players. Have you heard this one, Byron Mitchell? The 1,400 basketball players that put their name in the transfer portal because they don't want to be on their team. There ain't 1,400 positions out there. What are you guys doing? I'm going to rip you a new one on Friday for that too. Yeah.
Hey,
so
can I
I
say
definitely.
this?
Yeah.
You're getting a free college
And
education.
that's exactly where I'm going to rip them right there. Let me give you an example really quick that
No
I'm going to
loyalty at all.
Duke. They have this kid. I think he was a 4-star, probably 5-star player back in high school. He scored 1.1 points per game, Michael. Guess what? He put his name in the transfer portal. Why? Who's going to pick you up? You scored 1.1 points per game. Who is going to take you? You should stay at Duke and get a great education from a great university, as Byron and Mitchell just said, and work on your game. That's the problem. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting no playing time. Suck it up, Buttercup, and get out there and work your ass off, and then you'll get some playing time. But I'm going to rip you a new one on Friday. I'll tell you that right now.
You're fixing society.
Am I really?
You're fixing society. This
Well,
is what I'm talking about.
There you go. Well, we're going to get into that because we're going to put together a great show. So you tune in Friday night at 7 o'clock right here from the studios. On behalf of my buddy Byron Bagwell, Mr. Michael Heater, Mr. Dave Holland. Say hello, David. Mr. Mitchell Gunner. I'm your host, David Rodgers. God bless you guys. We'll see you Friday night. Bring it.
Peace, love, and hollow points.